This is Resonance 104.4 FM. Flipping marvellous. How are you? 'Tis I, Nicholas of Hennegan, coming at you once more on the airwaves, and also, of course, at bohemianbritain.com. Oh, I've had my pedigree chum today, you can tell, can't you? So I hope you've had a good time since last time. I was thinking of applying for the job of Prime Minister. But let's not get too political, shall we? Because no one else seems to be, do they? Hey? Oh, I think it's true. I've seen number 10 Downing Street on Airbnb. Apparently short lets are welcome. Yeah, anyway, oh, sorry, I'm talking to someone else. Back with you now. So how are you? It's Literary London, where we talk about, well, you know, things literary and also Londony, usually. But, as promised last time, for the second time, we're going to go north of the border to play some of the music that I came across during the Edinburgh Festival Fringe in 2022. It was, oh, excuse me, I should turn my email off, shouldn't I? No, it's not. It's not for us now. Yes, it was an interesting festival. The first one back since, of course, the worldwide COVID pandemic. The year before I actually went up, I think I've mentioned this before. And if you've ever been to the Edinburgh Festival before, it's the biggest open arts festival in the world. And if you go down the Royal Mile, every 2 or 3 seconds, someone's going to throw a poster at you. Or a flyer, try and get you to take a flyer. There are some ways of avoiding that. If you're in a show, then you usually wear your artist pass. And when they realise that you're probably broke and starving as well, they tend not to bother you so much. But the year before, 2021, I walked down the Royal Mile without an artist's pass. And I only got 1 flyer. In a normal year, it would have been probably in the thousands. Anyway, we're back to normal. 2022, fortunately, things were almost completely back to normal. I think sales were down very slightly, a few percent, maybe 10%, but then the shows were down 10%. But again, much better. In 2022, I think there was something like 3,500 shows, which is about normal. In 2021, there were 300, which is not normal. But all that hopefully is behind us. I'm quite aware of it because, of course, in the play that I produced and directed and adapted, actually, at the Edinburgh Festival this year, called Winston and David by Robert Lloyd George, it includes politics, which, of course, we're all very aware of in the UK at the moment. And it also includes a reference, of course, to the great pandemic that happened after the First World War, the Spanish flu, which also took away huge amounts of lives. Quite sadly. So I think I'm going to play a little bit from Winston and David. It's instrumental. But another play that I was quite interested in, or a musical. These are sort of slightly quirky musicals that I'm playing music from today. We're going to go back to Hamlet, Sir Ian McKellen's Hamlet, which is a beautiful orchestral piece. I say we're going to mention, I think we're going to play something from the Winston and David, my production, because why wouldn't I? There's a thing called The Choir of Man as well, which I discovered a few years ago, which is sort of a musical, but not quite a musical. There's no through storyline. I'm working on something similar at the moment, but I can't tell you too much about that. But I thought we'd kick off with this. This was one of the kind of, not weirder, but the more quirky offerings. It's called Prejudice and Pride. It's kind of a folk musical version of Pride and Prejudice. The band, I think there were 6 or 7 people in it, they all came over from the USA and they did a bit of role swapping and gender swapping. And I thought I'd play you this. We're going to hear American Pride in a bit. But this is from Prejudice and Pride, and it's called Vein of Gold. You don't need no man.
See you on the eastern facing road, you glimmer with a vein of gold, and it takes me by surprise. Hopelessly I struggle to withhold my iron from your lightning bolt, but you hold me magnetized. Though I'd be a fool to ignore the difficulty of jeweling my diamonds in a world of cold. Above the ugly stereotypes your family exemplifies, you stand out bright as gold. there's a pool of resolve in you that mirrors back my fortitude full of possibilities. Though between us friction often rose, he refines a vein of gold and there's strength in unity. Though I rest assured that I would doubtless thrive without you, I feel that that would somehow leave my life less sweet. And nurturing your aptitudes and sharing all my joys with you would make them more complete. I guess that what I'm trying to sing is, will you take a song to be my ring? Will you marry me?
A tender-hearted porcupine may well regret to use its spines, and I regret to wound with my reply. Round pegs don't fit in square holes, and I can't play a housewife role. It doesn't fit, and no, with you and I.
With no more politeness then am I to be summarily rejected.
If what you call politeness is insulting my whole family, that should have been expected. You don't need no man to teach you disrespect. You selfishly reject how others feel, so convinced that you're correct. You broke my brother's heart for your ideals, and to our whole damn town you made some pickle cocktease of your friend. Deny it if you can.
I have no desire to deny what kindness caused me to divide, showing her more than myself. Taking silence for indifference.
You took my brother's interest, wasn't Carly, but her well. Even if I could accept this, Private Wick's misfortunes expose and condemn you.
Private Wick is so unfortunate.
Don't dare to think sarcasm can defend you. You don't need no man to teach you violence. Bully and oppressive words alone. Leveraging your privileges. Cheat a gifted woman of her own. You never had a chance in hell to win my heart despite your wealth. I don't need no man. Go fuck yourself.
So this is what you think of me. I thank you for your honesty. Sorry to have taken up your time.
It's not going well, the relationship, is it? Oh, and by the way, if you thought that was a bad word at the end, it's not. I've seen the script. It just sounds it. That was from Pride, also I say Prejudice and Pride, a folk musical. Oh, sorry, I keep pinging away. I thought I switched everything off. At the Edinburgh Festival, they were, where were they? They were at the Space, UK, an interesting venue. And I saw them a couple of times, actually. I always quite like watching theatre more than once. It's probably because I'm a bit of an anorak, actually, I suppose. It's not so much the show. I'd like to see how it's developed, though. I remember someone saying to me years ago, there was a show they saw up in Manchester, and then they saw it again in the West End, and it seemed like a completely different show. And the producer went, yeah, something happened on the road. Because, of course, the glory of theatre, live theatre and musicals, is that it sort of does grow and develop. It's live. It happens right in front of you. I don't need to tell you this, do I? But it's an interesting aspect if you can be decadent enough to do it. So that was Sam Wright and the Barred Owls, Prejudice and Pride. We'll try and squeeze in another one from them, actually, because it's quite cute. And the banjo playing keeps going all the way through. Yeah. They're a good setup, and well done to Nicholas Collett as well, who co-produced the show there. Another new show that premiered for the first time at the Edinburgh Festival 2022 was Hamlet, and it was actually kind of a ballet, really. It's performed by the Edinburgh Festival Ballet, and probably highlighted by the fact that Sir Ian McKellen was involved, not only on the creation of it, but he was also in it every night. He performed. Sir Derek Jacobi actually very kindly did some work for me a few years ago, recorded. And I mentioned that to Ian, and he went, couldn't he turn up every night then, Doc? But he was, it was great. It got fairly mixed reviews, but I quite liked it. As I've said before, I'm used to messing around with forms of Shakespeare. The original music, the original soundtrack was music that was composed and orchestrated by Ethan Lewis Maltby. Ophelia's Lament is another one, which is not by him, but I'll play that if we've got time, squeeze that in, because that's lovely as well. But this is, this is quite dramatic. This track is called He Weeps for What Is Done. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern aren't dead yet. lush stuff, isn't it? That's from Hamlet, the music by Ethan Lewis Maltby. It was performed, as I say, at the Edinburgh Festival. And the original concept was by Peter Schaefus and none other than Sir Ian McKellen. Yes, we'll see if we can squeeze in Ophelia's theme. I'm Nick Hennegan. This is Resonance 104.4 FM. It's literary London. We're also on bohemianbritain.com. A mate of mine who I've known for a long time, he got to 65, 66, and as most people decide to take it easy, he's decided to cycle from Birmingham, England to Istanbul in order to raise money for Alzheimer's disease. He lost both his parents to it, and I've cycled with him once, 3 or 4 miles, and he's useless. He's really slow. But I'm going to play a song for him because I know he's out there at the moment, bashing away day in, day out. And in fact, on bohemianbritain.com, I'm going to sort of blog him, actually. So an account of what he's doing as he crosses this mad scheme, crosses Europe into Asia, or the gateway to Asia at least. So if you want to know more about that, John Slater's his name. Mad. No, he's not. That was a good bloke. But he also actually helped me out and run Maverick Theatre years ago. If you ever came to the Beelsley pub in Birmingham, Maverick Theatre, you would have seen John, I'm quite sure. Because he came in to help me out for 2 weeks and ended up staying for, 7 years, I think. And I can't afford him now. He normally travels all around the world doing production management things for theatre and dance companies, talking of Hamlet. But at the moment, yes, he's on his bike and cycling to Istanbul. So if you want to know how he gets on, then go to bohemianbritain.com. www.bohemianbritain.com. Oh, why did I suddenly sound like Mr. Bean? So I'll play something upbeat for him now if he is listening. This is great. It's from a fun show. It's coming back into London's West End, I do believe, later on in 2022 or 2023. And it's from the Choir of Man.
Some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck. Some nights I call it a draw. Some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they'd just fall off. But I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Oh, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know. That's alright. Found a martyr in my bed tonight. Stopped my bones from wondering just who I, hey, just who am I? Well, some nights I wish that this all would end, 'cause I could use some friends for a change. Some nights I'm scared you'll forget me again. Some nights I always win, but I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Oh, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know. Oh, come on.
So this is it. I sold my soul for this. Washed my hands and died for this. I miss my mum and dad for this. No. When I see stars, when I see stars, that's all they are. When I hear songs, they sound like a swan. So come on, come on, come on, oh come on. Oh, 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 oh. Oh
for my sister and the kind that she called love. But when I look into my nephew's eyes, man, you wouldn't believe the most amazing things that can come from
some terrible lies. Some nights I call it a draw. Some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they'd just fall off. But I still wake up, I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Oh, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know anymore.
Ah, good stuff. And if you've seen that show, it's they start clinking the glasses around. Sort of a dance with pint glasses. Hey? Yeah, you need to go see it. That's from the Choir of Man, Some Nights, of course. Oh, do you know what? I like that so much. Let's slip in another one from the Choir of Man. This is an a cappella version of Chandelier.
Party girl, don't get hurt, can't feel anything. When will I learn? I push it down, I push it down. I'm the one for a good time call, phone's blowing up, they're ringing my doorbell. I feel the love, I feel the love. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, drink. Throwing back time's I'm gonna swing from the chandelier, from the chandelier. Doesn't exist, like it doesn't exist. I'm gonna fly like a bird through the night, feel my tears as they dry. I'm gonna swing from the chandelier, from the chandelier. But I'm holding on for dear life, won't dig down, won't open my eyes. Keep my glass full until morning light, 'cause I'm just holding on for tonight. Help me, I'm holding on for dear life, won't dig down, open my eyes. Keep my glass full until morning light, 'cause I'm just holding on. From the chandelier, I'm gonna live like tomorrow doesn't exist, like it doesn't exist.
Ooh, good stuff, eh? The Choir of Man and their a cappella version of Chandelier. I got to know some of the sort of crew, the cast of A Choir of Man. They swap around a fair bit. It's not always the same cast. And they're touring all over the world as well. So, Nick Dooner that came up with the idea, he must be fairly happy. Oh, I think he is. And but one of the guys who sang the bass line, 4 or 5 years ago, he had a video. They went on a sort of a bonding trip, sort of, and they went to see caves. I can't remember where the caves were. Doesn't really matter though. But they did that in a cave with the natural kind of. They're all sort of swimming in a. It must have been somewhere foreign. Yes, I can't think of anywhere in the UK. So they're actually in the water, having a swim in this sort of underground cave, and they sang that a cappella, and it sounded fantastic. And of course, it pleased the onlookers. I was going to slip in Ophelia's Lament. Oh, yes, I was. But I don't think we've got time. So I've been playing music from the Edinburgh Festival 2022, some of the greatest hits of the weirdest and most wonderful musicals I've seen. Yes, well, musicals, I suppose you can't really call Hamlet a musical. Hamlet was a dance piece, but the music was by Ethan Lewis Maltby, and it was the creation of the piece was, as I mentioned before, Peter Chaffers and Ian McKellen. And then you heard Sam Wright and the Bard Owls playing Prejudice and Pride. And I wanted to get some of that in as well, so I might even have to do another programme. In the meantime, yes, that was not a threat. And I haven't got time either for anything from Winston and David, my show, which isn't really a musical, so I suppose, give myself a break. And then, of course, you heard from Choir of Man, who, as I mentioned, I think are returning to London, but they're touring all over the place, and it's a real good time show as well. Don't forget, if you'd like to get in touch with me, then you certainly can. It'd be nice to hear from you. Probably the easiest is through email, radio@mavericktheatre.co.uk. I say I am on Twitter at Nick Hennegan, Hennegan, Hennegan. But it's not really easy to remember Nick Hennegan, is it? If I was Arthur Smith or something. Talking of Arthur Smith, he was up there as well, but he wasn't doing musicals. I don't even know if he had a show this year, did he? Anyway, not to worry. Comedian Arthur Smith, a good boy, another good boy. So that's all we've got time for, really, but thank you very much for attending. You may now relax, and I'll see you next time on bohemianbritain.com. I'm Nick Hennegan. This is Literary London on Resonance 104.4 FM.